Hello, Dumaguete.
Hello, Negros Oriental.
Hello, Sillimanians around the world.
This is Joshua Soldivillo.
And this is Ronelyn Faith Vailoces-No.
You're watching
Silliman.
Good evening, everyone. This is a magazine show that talks about different aspects of Silliman University, a program initiated to discuss different matters concerning the campus by the sea. You are watching Silliman. Hello there, Sillimanian and friends of Silliman around the world. Dagang salamat for joining us once again. We are few weeks before the Founders Day celebration of our dear old Silliman, and of course, to all our alumni, we are looking forward to seeing you all here in the city of Dumaguete. Welcome back, Puhon here in Silliman University. And of course, one of the highlights of our Founders Day celebration would be the 80th installment of Miss Silliman. And tonight, friends, we have invited who will be competing for the Miss Silliman crown this year, following the theme of Her Story Rewritten Forward. So I'm sure you're very excited to meet our candidates this year, and I will allow them to introduce themselves. Let's start with the lady next to me.
Hello, good evening. I am Samantha Villaflores from the College of Nursing.
Hello everyone, good evening. I am Jehnie Namacpacan, representing the College of Engineering and Design.
Hello, good evening. I am Marguerite Arbon from the Institute of Rehabilitative Sciences.
Hello everyone, good evening. I am Chelsea Malto, representing the College of Education. Hello everyone, I am Sofian Alexis Villamor, hailing from the Institute of Clinical Laboratory Sciences.
Ayan, wow, ang galing naman. We have a lot of audience today. We have 8,000 audience. Pwede ba rin palakpakan ang ating mga candidates? Welcome to the show, ladies. And first and foremost, I would say congratulations. No, to me, you are already winners because the fact that you took the challenge to represent your college or your institute, that's already a big win, a big victory for you all. So congratulations. Now let's warm up our conversation first because Miss Silliman usually happens during Founders Day celebration. Whenever we go to the Hibalag booth, diba ang daming pagkain? Now when you go there, usually what's the first food that you buy? Let's start with Miss Nursing.
Oh, I've always been an avid fan of takeaway. I would most likely endorse them and advertise for them. I love the combination of fried foods and at the same time soft drinks all in one go.
Ay, ang sarap no? Very comforting.
Yes.
How about you, Miss Engineering?
My favorite go-to would be bazinga. Because before, whenever we do henna in our Archie booth, every earnings that I would get, I would spend it on bazinga.
With a chicken skin.
Yes.
Okay. Ang sarap din. Okay, how about for Miss IRS?
Well, my favorite is definitely Mexicali. I think
okay.
Recently in Hibalag, I've always been eager to visit their booth because the flavors are always there in Mexicali. It's always been my favorite.
I also love the food. Miss Education.
All right, so as for myself, I love coffee. I love drinking coffee. And one of the booths that I am very excited to see every Hibalag would be Utopia because they also have books. And I also
correct.
like to read. Like, I just love browsing what they bring over here during Hibalag. And yeah.
That's also an exciting booth, no? How about our Miss ICLS?
So one of the foods that I usually ate during Hibalag is also the same with Miss Engineering,
Okay.
bazinga, because last year's Hibalag I was a committee head and I would be all around the booth or all around the area, which is very tiring, and one of the comfort food that I would go to is bazinga.
Ayun. And we look forward this year. What would be the different partners that we will be having at the booth? So something that to look forward to. But let's proceed now to Miss Silliman. This is the 80th edition, no? And I really love your theme. It says, her story rewritten forward. So let's talk about the theme very quickly, and I'd like to start with Miss Education. What is your personal take on the theme this year? How do you personally embody the theme this year? Her story rewritten forward.
All right. So what I can say for myself and as on my journey as a special needs education teacher, I would say that my views, especially with how education is being taught in this modern day, I would say that it's always being rewritten, it's always being changed because as we progress, we are already very, how could I say this, inclusive. But I would also say during my observations that there are some practices, especially with certain schools that are implementing inclusivity, but in reality it is more so just integration rather than inclusion. So my part as a teacher, hopeful, I would like to rewrite what it is to show everyone that integration is not merely education, it is not synonymous, it is actually different, and that moving forward, I can show everyone that this is how inclusion is actually is. Everyone is a part of it. No one is excluded, especially in classrooms. And that every child, regardless of disability, socioeconomic status, they deserve to learn and to be in schools.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well said. That's very important. No? I mean, I understand there's a big work to do for the inclusive education in the country, but you know, one step forward always matters, diba? Rather than staying stagnant and not able to shake things up and rewrite our story. Thank you so much for that, Miss Education. How about you, Miss Engineering and Design? How do you intend to embody the theme this year?
So during my CD, while I was writing my advocacy project Best Friend, I was thinking on how I could make an impact as an architecture student, as a student in the College of Engineering and Design, because I wanted my advocacy to leave a legacy, which is when I heard the theme rewritten forward, it was very in line with my goal, with my advocacy, to leave a legacy that rooted in our college. And with my advocacy, it is all about taking into consideration the little lives in our community. It is the welfare and the well-being of stray animals. And a lot of people see stray animals as a natural part of our society. They don't really see it as a problem that was rooted because of human irresponsibility.
Yeah.
And as a designer or as a future architect, I learned that our line of work is not just about designing buildings. It's not just about making a place aesthetic for people. But it is also about caring for the community. It is making a better place for everyone. It is considering all their positions. It's employing empathy and kindness.
Right.
And that is what I learned, and that is what I want to employ in this theme rewritten forward.
Okay, I understand there's also so many concerns right now, no, with stray animals and interesting to learn from a future architect that there's that's really where you would like to anchor your advocacy. Very interesting, very novel. How about Miss IRS?
So actually, with physical therapy, I really do feel very empowered with the information provided to us. It's always about health and wellness and movement, and I wanted to be able to integrate that through my advocacy. And to me, this advocacy perfectly encapsulates the theme for this year's 80th Miss Silliman. And I wanted to be able to use my power of education to empower the people around me through health awareness and also by talking about a rare condition, Guillain-Barré syndrome. This advocacy is deeply rooted with a personal story, really close to my heart. And I personally know someone who has Guillain-Barré syndrome, and I wanted to honor her through this advocacy, rewriting her story while also rewriting mine. Thank you.
Wow, very. I appreciate how deeply rooted your advocacy is in relation to embodying the theme this year. So all the best for that. How about for Miss ICLS?
Actually, when I first heard the theme for this year's 80th Miss Silliman, I literally had goosebumps because it's actually the reason why I am here on this stage, why I'm representing our college. because I was a chief Girl Scout before, and until now actually, I had a project, a renovation project in our community, which includes the renovation of a public comfort room in a public market. And after that project, I realized a question as I embark on the medical technology student. What happens after the renovation? Because we can provide facilities, we can provide the resources, but what if the people do not know the meaning of this renovation? The cycle continues. And that is why my advocacy is focused on rewriting the story that I had before. It is rewriting on a different way because I intend to focus on health awareness. And I believe that it starts with a story that I created in the past, and I think that it deeply resonates with me because I never would have been able to continue what I'm doing right now without what I did in the past. And I think that that is very relevant in my journey during this year, especially the theme talks about rewriting forward. I am not simply making a story out of it, but I am continuing the story that I thought that I ended the purpose before, but there's always a way to continue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think one way also of rewriting story is to continue writing the story. And that's exactly what you're trying to do there. So congratulations for that, Miss ICLS. Miss Nursing.
Hello. So I have been a member of a nonprofit humanitarian organization for almost 5 years now. And earlier this year, I became an emergency medical responder. So I basically became exposed to different kinds of emergencies, medical emergency, traumatic emergencies. However, for my advocacy, it has been a long time coming. It has been with me ever since I was in senior high school. And I was basically just been given the opportunity to bring it on a bigger platform when I entered or when I joined Miss Nursing 2026. But to those who don't know, I was given the opportunity to become Miss Nursing 2026 first runner-up. I never really had the chance to wear the Miss Nursing crown over my head. And to be honest, for the past few months, I did have my shared doubts on whether it's still worth it to join and to continue. But then I believe that it has never been about the crown or the recognition, but it's always been about choosing to show up because you know that something matters, and it is my advocacy that matters. So for the past few months, I showed up, I implemented my advocacy first in Barangay Kalindagan, one of the three priority barangays in Dumaguete City, and with the highest prevalence of hypertension, which is a cardiovascular disease, also a leading cause of mortality worldwide. So I believe that it is in that same presence, same course of action, which is showing up. I saw myself not defined by my past, but as someone who actively redefines it into something much more meaningful for others. So that is how I resonate with this year's theme.
Okay, very interesting background story, Miss Nursing, no? And essentially, that's really how the universe unfolds sometimes. So we think that it's the end, but here I am. Let's continue it and let's continue moving forward. No, thank you so much for sharing the backgrounds of your advocacy and how you intend to embody the theme this year. No, so kudos, by the way, to the Miss Silliman committee for a wonderful theme this year. Congratulations, guys. Now, since you are deeply rooted now in your advocacy, in one way or the other, I'm sure you have met someone, particularly a woman, no? That may be personally known to you or historical, you may have encountered or read. No? It could be historical or contemporary, whose story has shaped your own. No? So if you were to identify a woman that influenced you, no? in shaping your own story and even rewriting your own story, who comes to mind? Let's start with Miss IRS.
Well, I've actually thought about this for quite a long time. Who is a woman that greatly inspires me? And to me, I think the perfect embodiment of a woman was Josefa Llanes Escoda. She is a women's rights advocate, and she was able to get education abroad. She used her power of education to empower women in the Philippines to push for their right to vote. So it was from the past. And I think I took so much inspiration from her because she used her privilege of education not for herself but for her people. And I wanted to embody that even through my advocacy on Guillain-Barré syndrome. It's very important that I get to talk about a rare condition because not only is it talked about in our classes.
Right, agreed.
But I want to be able to share that information to the community, especially to the elderly, because they are the most susceptible to that condition.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miss IRS. How about Miss ICLS? Who comes to mind?
It is also surprisingly the same with Miss IRS, Miss Josefa Llanes Escoda, since I am also a Girl Scout. The story that I have with me, that I carry with me, is shaped by who I am today. And being a Girl Scout, being a Chief Girl Scout is actually a privilege to me because it enabled me to become a person who knows how to lead with purpose, who knows how to serve the others, especially the community. And I believe that being a woman who I am today, that inspired me because I believe that showing up really matters, and then being able to share my story to other people, especially that my advocacy is all about BITOC. It's all about sanitation. I believe that prevention starts with awareness, and that is why my advocacy is focused on health education, and that the woman, Josefa Llanes Escoda, inspires me to do good things in the community, and that's why I embodied myself as a good servant and as a good leader also.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
that's a very inspiring woman for you, no? Okay. How about for Miss Engineering?
If I were to think of a woman who inspires me most, I would not go far but with my mother. Because I grew up with a single mom, and she has taught me so much that I was able to build my character as to who I am today. There are a lot of problems when it comes to being a single mom, right? There are a lot of norms or what the society thinks on why you're a single mom. But what I love about my mom is that she showed up. She chose to show up for us. She didn't leave her responsibility. She packed her bags to Manila and then built a life for us. And she made sure to give us the life that we deserve, to give us a life that she never had. I mean, she never enjoyed her youth because she had me at an early age. But that's what I like about my mom, because I am living my youth for her.
Wow.
I am doing my best to make my mom proud and to also redefine what it means to be a child or a product of a broken family. And it's actually not that bad because you have a very strong character. You were raised to be on your own, to be a strong, independent woman. And that's what I want to apply with my advocacy, because not everyone really pays attention with stray animals. We know a lot of people who are dog owners, but they don't really see that stray animals are also animals that we need to look for. Because actually, when everyone tackles stray animals, it doesn't just benefit the animals, it benefits our community. With taking care of stray animals, we have a cleaner streets, a safer Dumaguete streets. And my challenge with that is, how could I convince these people?
Right.
Just like how my mom could convince everyone else that she could do it on her own. How could I take that responsibility and be a platform so that everyone sees the value of stray animals?
Okay. Thank you. That's a very inspiring inspiration because your mother was able to rewrite her life by rewriting yours. And now you are rewriting your life by rewriting the narrative of a community, right? Thank you so much. Miss Nursing.
Well, I would be very honored to talk about Dr. Olivia Villaflores Yanson. Most of you may know her as this entrepreneur, a billionaire who continues to leave a remarkable mark in the field of business transportation. But more than all these things, I was able to see her heartfelt commitment to humanitarian works. As a matter of fact, in the different articles I've read about her, her charity works has always focused on education, healthcare, and community development. And I believe it's the same calling, the way it called me, and that has always been to help the sick and to comfort the weak. Also, one of the reasons why I took up nursing, as she is also a product of one of Silliman University's great pride and honor, the Silliman University College of Nursing. And so I'm very honored to be able to talk about Dr. OVY, also one of the big contributor of SUCN. So that would be the woman that really inspired me to also focus on community initiatives such as Project Puso.
Okay, wonderful. And of course, Miss Education.
Yes, so as for me, I would say it would be my aunt who, I'm sorry. So it would be my aunt, my Mama Ruth. She is the eldest sister of my, dad, and she's still with us today. She inspired me so much because in the family, I'm the only girl who took up education. So I followed after her footsteps because she essentially rewrote the story of my family and my father's side. She essentially helped raise her siblings, put them all in school. She's the one who pioneered, who rose our family up from poverty. And hearing stories from her, overcoming her challenges, it always makes me emotional. It always brings maybe tears to my eyes, just like right now, because those stories are what influences me. Those stories are what inspires me to be the type of teacher that I want to be, the type of teacher that I'm practicing to be, especially for my future kids, for my future students, because my family has been always centered in service. We are always in service to our community in Tanhay and in Amlan. And I'm just very honored to be able to have a platform to speak up for children with special needs. And it's just, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's amazing because I have my aunt guiding me throughout this journey as well. She's the one who encouraged me to also join and to just step out of the shadows because I am more so a wallflower. If anything, I like staying behind. I don't blend in with the crowds, if I were to say, but because of this experience, because of this journey, I am learning so much about myself and essentially just rewriting a huge part of my life. And it's kind of ironic also because I'm also a creative writer, so it's already giving me a lot of inspiration for my writing work. So yeah, my aunt.
All right, wonderful stories, ladies, and how I wish we have really the time to unpack further, this story of yours and share more, especially that it has been so heartful, and very warm. That really means, what I'm getting from you now is that this decision and intention of joining Miss Silliman is not just really for the sake of joining, but I really see the authentic desire to rewrite also in line with your advocacy. So all the best. Now the final round of this is that I'll be reading some statements and you are supposed to rewrite the statement moving forward using the last word of the sentence that I'm going to read. Okay, so you're only allowed to give a sentence or two. Okay, sige. So let's start with Miss Nursing going to Miss ICLS. All right, Miss Nursing, this is your statement. Many women before us fought so that the next generation could live with greater freedom. Your starting word is freedom.
Freedom for me is having the ability to speak for what is right and at the same time act for what is right. As an advocate, I have always been vocal about wanting to be in the medical field, specifically Bachelor of Science in Nursing. And I believe that to be able or to be given the opportunity and the privilege to study nursing itself is already a freedom. A lot of countries right now are having that challenge, specifically Afghanistan. Freedom, women's rights, they are struggling with that. And I stand here today as a woman to remind society that women can independently thrive in different aspects of life, politics, economics, and even health. And I believe that we should be able to give them this freedom because at the end of the day, women can be stronger and we can definitely take up space in society.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Nursing. Up next, we have Miss Engineering and Design. Your statement is, a woman's greatest strength may be her ability to transform pain into purpose. Your starting word is purpose.
Purpose is what drives me on joining Miss Silliman because I wanted to instill something in our community that this, my advocacy, stray animals, is something that we should not overlook. It is something that we should consider if we want a better Dumaguete. We have to consider the lives of these small animals because it shows us that kindness can be received, or you could show kindness to anyone without expecting something in return. And by knowing your purpose in life, that is what would drive you into becoming a better leader, into becoming a better candidate. And that purpose will drive you into putting your advocacy into a reality, into putting your advocacy on the streets, into showing everyone that this advocacy will work because my purpose is what has driven me to be a better person and to make my advocacy a better advocacy.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Engineering and Design. Let's go now to Miss IRS. Your statement is, history remembers those who were courageous enough to use their voice. Your starting word is voice.
Voice has always been given a privilege, especially through Miss Silliman. I think Miss Silliman is a great avenue for women like me to use their voices to empower and to inspire the people around us. And I would want to use this opportunity to also encourage women to use their voices and to fight for their rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss IRS. Miss Education, the future belongs to people who are willing to question old definitions of success. Your starting word is success.
Success to me at some point meant being stable, being someone who has enough for themselves, because I always thought that is the future, that is how people would think. But because of the privilege I have and being the candidate for education and my advocacy, especially on education, health, physical education, and also nutrition and values education, I would say that success isn't merely about what you do for yourself, but what you can do for others, being in service of others. And that is exactly why I am here today, because not only am I representing my community, my fellow teachers, but I'm also representing communities such as the special needs community, people with disabilities, especially the Down syndrome community, because my sibling is a person with Down syndrome, and he inspires me every day to keep on fighting and to keep showing up for others and also for myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Education. And of course, we have Miss ICLS. Real leadership begins when influence is guided by responsibility. Your starting word is responsibility.
Responsibility for me, I believe that responsibility for me comes also with an action. Because without an action, you will not be able to become responsible enough on how you will do things, and how you will do things right, and how you will do something that you would think that would help the community. As an advocate for BTOC, I feel responsible to educate the children on how important it is for them to know about sanitation, because as we all know, children are very exposed to soil, they are very exposed to the playground, and one transmission of BTOC is through playing soils without them wearing their slippers or their hands. And I believe that if I have the means to learn about the importance of parasitic infection, if I have the means to help them, then I also have the responsibility to share them what I've learned and what I can help to them.
Okay, well said. Thank you so much, ladies. And in conclusion, we have a Ang dami kong pinapa-complete sa inyo, no? Parang nag-fill out kayo ng form. Yes, you're filling out a form in application for the Miss Silliman Crown, no, di ba? So, eto ha, strictly one sentence. Ha, hindi kayo nag-follow ng instruction. One sentence or two lang sinabi ko. This time, strictly one sentence. Okay, complete the sentence. Her story moves forward when? Miss ICLS. Her story moves forward when?
Her story moves forward when you take an action.
Miss Education?
Her story moves forward when she is brave enough to wade through waters.
Miss IRS, her story moves forward when?
Her story moves forward when she chooses to take up that opportunity.
Miss Engineering, her story moves forward when?
Her story moves forward when the spotlight is off. She rolls up her sleeve and she takes action and put into action her purpose.
Okay. Miss Nursing, her story moves forward when?
Her story moves forward when she actively redefines her purpose into something much more meaningful for others.
There you go. Thank you so much, Miss ICLS, Miss Education, Miss IRS, Miss Engineering, and of course, Miss Nursing. All the best. And we look forward to seeing you guys this August 5 here at the AVT as you do your advocacy launches. And we can't wait to hear more of what you are going to do in relation to all the plans that you have prepared. So congratulations and God bless you. Hey there, Sillimanians and friends of Silliman around the world. Daghang salamat for joining us tonight. Continue supporting our Facebook page. It's called #Silliman. Don't forget to share, like, and comment on your favorite episodes. And of course, our YouTube channel, it's still called #Silliman. Don't forget to click the notification bell for you to be updated with our recent posts. See you there. And of course, we are airing every Monday night. That's 8 p.m. on Channel 6 Field Products Dumaguete. Replays are aired every Tuesday before the noontime news and Saturday after the noontime news. In behalf of Ronelyn, Vailoces-No, this has been Joshua Soldivillo. See you next week on the Here On #Silliman.